Kabayibona ifuture Zubalibele izinto zakudala abanye abantu abakwazi ukushumayela ivangeli bakwela izindaba umuntu ubona senkonzweni ucabanga ukuthi lo muntu ukholiwe susane sikumathelo susane ulwazi lwethu susane ububole susane ulwazi lwethu susane izinto zakudala susubulane ivangeli esalakona susubulane ivangeli esemelo nesisindisonga yekelana izindaba yekelana amagama abantu yekelana yonke intebo yekelana inzondo makashumayela ivangeli makashumayela ivangeli makasiyeka izindaba namagama abantu
Good evening, everyone, and apologies for the late start. We had minor challenges with the technology, but let us now hand over to Father Apostle Ndungwa to lead us in prayer so that we can start our session.
Thank you very much. Can we pray? Egameni kaThixo ubawo, Thixo unyana, nomoya oyingcwele. Amen. Kristu unyana kaThixo ophilileyo, naku Nkosi yamakhosi sisondeza ingqondo zethu nenhliziyo zethu ukuze ziphathe umsebenzi wakho oyingcwele. Makuthi ke Nkosi yamakhosi ibe nguwe ohlambulula inhliziyo zethu, hlambulule imizimba yethu nengqondo zethu, mhlambe izandla zethu xa sizawuphatha umsebenzi wakho. Ibe nguwe Nkosi yamakhosi owuphathayo ukuze ube yimpumelelo, kuba sisazi akukho nto esinokuyenza ngezethu izandla ibe yimpumelelo kungekho wena. Ngena nokungena kwethu ke Kristu unyana kaThixo ophilileyo kulo msebenzi esingena kuwo udumiseke ngoku nangonaphakade. Amen.
Amen. Siyabulela tata. Usuku lwethu namhlanje iprogram yethu we would have HOD wethu our music as the updating a status of where we are in terms of the music program for the year. Then after that sibuyisele ke ku Tata Mbostile as lead ukhona naba o-conductor ne-structure esithile so music esizawuncedisana naye as irana i-program. We are wanting the program to be interactive. Therefore, that would require a lot of discipline. Now, for us to interact with the session, on all of your gadgets that you are using, there's an option for raising a hand. Now, all of those hands that would be raised, I would jot them down, and when the presentations are complete, we would then give all of those people who would have raised their hands to speak and have their questions be heard. But we are requesting that be in a place that has no noise. There must be no one in the background, no TV or anything. If you are on the road, please do not ask any questions. Please be in a room so that you are able to do everything properly. I would now hand over to HOD to Umamveleli Uzondi. Mamuzondi.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, greetings, everybody. Good evening. Special greetings to the music team, choristers, Father Ntungwa, and all the other apostles that have joined us tonight. First of all, as we are all aware that we have missed the provincial tradical competition, let us not be discouraged by this. We do understand and know that the current situation that we find ourselves in is not of our doing, but in Ntoga Nkulunkulu. Therefore, as NYEC and eMusic Desk, we saw it fit that we should give it direction and guidance and motivation as well to ensure that abantu or brothers and sisters are not discouraged and disengaged and lose the focus. This is not the end of the world. After a lockdown has been lifted, sizokwenza indlela yokuthi sibonane nobaba ozosinikeza i-direction as to how the church is moving forward. We know that with Diary of Events, siyabona ukuthi we're going to be missing a whole lot of events, especially music. This may include also a postponement of some competitions, and mhlambe ke sibe nawo later in the year, meaning that we will be hosting a provincial competition, because we cannot have a Champ of Champs without having a provincial competition. But we will have to rearrange the Diary of Events. Into esingathanda ukuyisho ukuthi abantu must stay ready and be on standby, because our church events or our church activities are still going to continue after the lockdown. Indlela ke esizo-communicate ngayo after the lockdown is that we're going to be drawing up ama-circulars outlining exactly how we're moving forward as Lomzimba, like we normally do when we are communicating on these music events. Into esicelayo ke as the team is that kwi-platform efana nale that Ubaba Kuseni has now created for us, like Zoom and other technological platforms that can be used. Sicela ukuthi abantu bakwazi ukuthi bangazisebenzisa to revive and make sure that all choristers and church congregants are well informed with the developments ezintsha ezizokwenzeka moving forward. With those few words, I do not want to say a lot. All I can say is that we must all adhere to the rules and regulations of the lockdown, stay safe, and so that we can be able to see each other and in good spirits in the next national event. Thank you very much. I'll hand over to Babu Kuseni, or we can continue with our program because we've got a lot lined up, and unfortunately, because we've wasted about 17 minutes of our time. So that we can be able to see each other. Aqhubeke ne-program yethu. Ngiyabonga.
Yabulela mama. Babundunga.
Siyabulela tata. Sibulise kubo bonke abangene kunye nathi kule program. Sibulise utata umpostile, the chief apostle, the president, the presidency. Sibulisa HOD we music, Promise Zondi. all conductors, all structures ezisebenza indaba ye-music naye wonke umuntu ongene kunye nathi apha. We would love to talk about the spirituality in music, because this is a very sensitive area in the music as the activity within the church. We need to understand this. Let us take a scenario of a fruit. For instance, an orange. If you see a ready orange, ready to be consumed, you need to understand that there are lots of activities that happened beyond the stage wherein the orange is ready to be consumed. Firstly, there was someone who had to work the land, to till the land. Someone had to put in appropriate fertilizer. Someone had to do the actual planting of the tree. Someone had to look at the watering of the tree and the removing of all the weeds. Someone had to take care and nurture the tree as it grows up. Someone had to ensure that the field is properly fenced. Someone had to ensure that everything that the tree needs is provided accordingly and timeously. Someone had to look into the readiness of the fruit from the tree, that now it is ready to be consumed. One had to package the fruit. One had to search the market, and you finally find the fruit on the shelves of the stores, and you buy it and you consume. But all those activities, they are coordinated by the owner of the farm, the CEO of the farm, who is the brain behind all these activities that are happening in preparing for the fruit. What does this mean? It means if the owner finds the fruit rotten, he will certainly know that someone who had to put in the pesticides did not do his work. If the fruit did not grow well, someone who had to prepare the land, till the land, plow the land, did not do the work properly. He would know if anything is wrong with the fruit, that somebody in the chain did not do the work properly. The fruit will be the outcome of the chain of activities. That's what the music is. It is the fruit. Because if you see the music, when you see the choir performing on stage, our father, spiritual father, who happens to be the CEO in the scenario of the farm, will definitely know that if this choir is at this level, this task and this task has not been done in that community or in that congregation. For the choir to be in a certain state, all the role players must put in their efforts meaningfully and unreservedly so. Uyazi utata ukuthi if a choir ingena on stage not properly dressed, omama beliyabandla abawenzanga umsebenzi kakuhle. That's an example. It shows that a choir is the reflection of what happens in the communities, back in the communities. Because by the mere fact that there is a choir is a group of people who come together with a common cause, and they cannot do any cheating. You cannot cheat within a choir, because for a choir to stand on stage, everybody should learn and know the music 100%. Everybody. There must be no 50 and 40 and 100%. Everybody. It shows that everyone must attend the practices faithfully. If one does not do that, it will be shown on stage. It requires a lot of fellowship. We need to come together all the time and put aside all our differences and appreciate our differences for the cause of unity, because that is the most united body you can put forward as the proof of the fruit of the Holy Spirit. That is the choir. If the fruit of the Holy Spirit is not there, which is fellowship, which is unity, which is the forgiveness on our differences, we cannot establish the choir. A choir can only be established by people who seek unity amongst them. That is why, amongst other reasons, I think our predecessors felt that the solo sections are not fitting into this common cause. Because a solo section, you would stand there and sing alone. You don't need anybody else. But in a choir, no matter how good you are, but you need the next person and the next person. No matter how bad they are in singing, but it's your duty to make them good. That's where the fellowship comes in. That's where the spirit of unity and togetherness comes in. You would not wonder why, out of such a packed diary of events, but you will see not less than 10 music events, because music is at the core of praising the Lord. Because if Psalms chapter 22 verse 3 is anything to go by, and is quoted as saying, God inhabits in the praises of his people, it means if we want the existence or the presence of God, we need to ensure that there are praises in our midst. And I'm using this term very carefully, praises, not songs or music, because there is a difference between praises and music or singing. Singing can be done by everybody, but praises cannot be done by everybody. But if you are not careful enough, you cannot depict the difference between the two. The praises can only be performed by the children of God who know him, who understand him. But singing can be done by everybody. God will never dwell in singing, because if he were to dwell in singing, he was going to dwell everywhere. You would go outside as we speak, let alone it's just a shutdown, a lockdown. If it was not, if you were to go out, you'd go to the tavern, the nearest tavern. You'd find people when already drunk, they will sing. Now, God will never dwell in singing, but in praises. What defines praises from singing is the actual reason why we have got so many music activities in our church. Let me make a simple example and a scenario. Our father, the chief apostle,
What happened?
I'm sorry for that. He advised that we must put an end to the use of trophies in the competitions or festivals. That was a step that was directing us to understand that if we have got a competition, a physical competition mentality, we cannot reach his praises. Because if we are going to the festivals with the physical competition, that will warrant jealousy, that will warrant bad bad mouthing that will warrant not wishing everyone else any success. But in praises, we are all together. We need one another. We are all connected. Sibanye, sithetha ngelizwe linye, sidumisa uThixo wethu. Indumiso zohluka kanjalo ke emculweni. Kuba indumiso injongo zazo ukuphakamisa uThixo. Ayikokubonisa ngamabhongo amazwi ethu ukuba mahle nokuba gudi kwethu emculweni, kodwa kukuyophakamisa igama likaThixo. Now xa siphakamisa uThixo wethu ngendumiso, uyasuka yena athathe indawo kwezo ndumiso. Sithi besisisa indumiso kanti sesihamba noThixo kwathina. Uqala kuloo ndawo ke umculo, ukungabi ngumculo ube zindumiso, kuba uThixo akanangxaki nomculo. Umculo ukho all over, kodwa uThixo udinga indumiso. Indumiso zivele ebantwini bakhe. Uzoyibona ngalento indumiso. Ikwayari kuzothiwa nansi mayenze i-tradical. Ezawufika phaya ii-composers zayo. Uvuka indumiso kuzo eveza ubume babo kweli yabandla. Ufike bema phaya eqongeni bebulela uThixo bethi siyakubonga Thixo, siyakuvuma ubuyinkosi, umkhulu mpostile wabapostile. Ivele enye yesibini isithi hey kunzima emhlabeni, sihamba nzima, siyasokola. Ibonisa indlela ekukuyo phaya ebandleni. Ngamanye amazwi umculo lo awukwazi kuroba, uza kuveza lanto uyiyo emva phaya ekhaya. Noba ungacareful kangakanani uthi ufuna ukuyifihla kangakanani, uyibona nje lula lanto ivele ibonakala lula. Athi omnye uyangena eqongeni, omnye avulanga ngeni, uthi uyabona bashiyene kwa ungena oku. Utata ke it's watching carefully. Andimthetheli, zange wayithetha lonto kum, kodwa ndiyayicinga uba ifana binjalo. Kuba kaloku ufuna ukubona a united body ihlangene isiza kuye imxhelo omnye. Yilonto ke esithi bantakwethu, masithi xa sijonga indumiso zalonyaka, siyeke i-competition ezingqondweni. Izasikhupha ebuthixweni, isifake kwi-competitions ezikhoyo nasezweni. There was no need that there must be festivals in the church because there are lots of music festivals outside the church. But they are not praising God. They are for their own vain glory. Ingxaki ke ngoku ye-vain glory, uzuko olulambathayo, inkosi yamakhosi ethetha ngalo kulo nyaka. Lolu lokuba uba siya emculweni sikhangela uzuko olulambathayo, sizawufike sifune opposition 1 ngenkani. Kukanjani ungenkani? Kukuthi uba ndimfumana opposition 1, sendigxeka wonke umuntu okhoyo phaya. Then the adjudicators, they are bad. The organizers, they are bad. Everyone is bad. Kuba ndifuna uzuko lwam. And olo zuko lwam endizifunela lona luyalambatha. Kanti ukuba ngaba ndenza konke okufanelekileyo uba mandikwenze to prepare a choir and leave it to God ukundizukisa. Uba akandizukisanga ke uThixo, kulungile nalapho. Kuba uLuka 16 kakade uyatsho uYesu xa ebalisa phaya ngoAbraham noDivas noLazaro ukuba ingxaki yenzeka ekufeni. Xa kufika uDivas uthi uAbraham, kaloku wena Divas umvuzo wakho wawufinca emhlabeni kuba wawuzenzela uzuko lwakho nemihlali yakho emhlabeni. Ngoku njengoba ubukele uLazaro owayethuthunjelwa emhlabeni, lixesha lokuba athuthuzelwe. Ukuba ngaba siya ngaloo ngqondo kwi-competition zethu, sithi nokuba asifumananga iposition 1, siqonde nobana liyeza ixesha loba uThixo asithuthuzele, kuba kukhona ixesha apho sizowudinga umvuzo ongunaphakade ngulo siwusebenzelayo. Masingathi xa siya emculweni sifune uzuko lwethu lokuzenzela nemihlali yethu. Utsho uYesu xa ebalisa phaa kulaa ndaba kaLazaro noDivas, uthi hayi kaloku isityebi esi sasizenzela uzuko, sinxiba ilineni ezicikiziweyo ezibomvu sizenzele imihla ngemihla ekuphileni kwaso emhlabeni. Masingangeni kulo trap ke bantakwethu yokuzenzela imihlali ezindumisweni zikaThixo. Xa sisenza indumiso sidumisa uThixo, masingafuni izuko lwethu apha ezindumisweni, kodwa masiphakamise uThixo wethu esimvumayo ukuze yena ngexesha elifanelekileyo asizukise ngozuko olusifaneleyo. Nanko kumohluko phakathi kwendumiso nomculo. Abaculayo bafuna ukuphumelela noba imeko injani, kodwa abadumisa uThixo banika lokhu udumo kuThixo, balindele kuye. Xa kukholisekile kuye abazukise ngokufanelekileyo. Nanso ke injongo emasingalahlekani nayo ngalo lonke ixesha sisiya kwi-festivals inkosi esinike iplatform yazo, singasuki simdanise uThixo wethu ukuze abone into yokubana eli thuba sinike lona asilisebenzisi kakuhle kuba sisethina sasa umculo, asasa indumiso ebusweni bakhe. Ndicela ke ukuma kule ndawo ukuze ndinikele bakhona abantakwethu abazoke bangene apha emaculweni bake basihlakulele kuwo. Mandithabathe elithuba ndibulele kakhulu. Enkosi.
Siyabulela kakhulu tata. We will now hand over to Tatu Khadebe Ukulu. He will start with the first song, which is Ulaj. We Western Peace. Sounding like way that Ukulu.
Let me take this opportunity to thank the invitation by our national youth desk to form part of this historical platform. Greetings to everyone and all protocol observed. I'm hoping that I am be able to hear me loud and clear.
You are clear.
Tonight, thank you very much. Tonight, I will be focusing on the Western prescribed song for large section. And I am urging everyone to have their pens and notes ready so that they can be able to take the notes. Before attempting to analyze the prescribed music, as a conductor or a chorister, you need to check the following elements. You need to know the musical background of the composer, the era or period of composition, the characteristics of the era or of the period, the background of the work, and the extract from where the work was taken from. And then after you can be able to analyze your music. I have already touched on the period of compositions. You are aware that we have different periods, and each period has its own unique and stylistic approach. The different periods that I'm referring to, we have what we call medieval period, we have the Renaissance period, we have the famous one, which is the Baroque period, the classical period, the Romantic period, as well as the 20th century period, including our African century music. After establishing all the elements that I have already outlined, then you can start to go into to analyze your prescribed music. As you are aware that the prescribed music for our large section, the Western song, it is composed by Felix Mendelssohn. And just to give you a background of Felix Mendelssohn, he was part of what we call a canonic composers. What do I mean by canonic composers? Canonic composers are famous composers whose music were chosen repeatedly for various productions as well as concerts over decades. So Felix Mendelssohn, he forms part of the canonic composers. And he was born on the 3rd of February, 1809, and he died on the 4th of November, 1847. He was from Germany. He was a pianist. He was an organist and a conductor of early Romantic period. Remember that I've already outlined various periods, so he falls under what we call the Romantic period. So in terms of the compositions, he did what we call the symphonies, the concertos, the piano music, as well as the chamber music, including lots of oratorios that he have done. So he started his music lesson at the age of 6, where he was playing a piano. And then he first wrote his first symphony with full orchestra at the age of 15 years. So you could see how talented Felix was. So then this song that is being prescribed for large section is taken from his work called Elijah. And in English, you know that is Elias. It is an oratorio. And then as a conductors or choristers, we need to differentiate between the two. You need to differentiate between what is an oratorio and what is an opera, because the two, they are different. But this one, it was taken from his oratorio. And it was premiered in 1846. So it depicts events in the life of the biblical prophet of Elijah. You know that Elijah was a priest, and this work was taken from book of 1 Kings and 2 Kings, and you find that on the Old Testament. So then what Mendelssohn did, he used biblical episodes relating to the life of Elijah, and then he wrote these compositions. And then he took some other related biblical texts that you find in the Psalms, others you find them in the book of Isaiah. And then they form part of this a piece of work called Elijah. So then his musical influence, he was influenced by two great composers. The first one is Sebastian Bach, and the second one is a famous one by the name of George Frederick Handel. So then his compositions, it depicts some of the elements of these two great composers. But then what he did in the Elijah, he colored the music in terms of his lyricism as well as the usage of orchestra. You remember that even during the various periods, the orchestra, the type of orchestra also differs in terms of different styles of music. But then what he did on this oratorio, he took two elements of Baroque style of singing, and then he also included the elements of Romantic period. So then in this work, Elijah, it is written in two parts, and then you will need as a conductor to go through the part one of the music, and then understand what are the elements of part one, as well as the elements of part two, the music of this work. And then after, you will also need to extract and find what informed the composer to use various characters in these oratorios. Right. I have talked much about the oratorios. One might be sitting and asking himself or herself, what is this oratorios? What are the elements of oratorios? Right. The oratorios are what we called the sacred music, because they were taken from various pieces of books mainly on the Old Testament. So they are light in texture, and mostly there is no drama. Remember that you will find drama in opera, but now in the oratorios, there mostly no drama, except those that were done towards the end of the Baroque period to go into the Romantic period. But the most orators, there is no drum. Right. And this one, remember that it comes from the Baroque period. So then when you do the large Western song, you need to adhere to the characteristics of a Baroque period, which are lightness in terms of the texture, the agility, and it requires a lot of energy levels, which must not drop between the music. And then it must be very business. And then when you do your melodies, you must adhere to the correct shaping of the melodies. It must be within the Baroque style of singing. It must not be from other periods, because then you would be the educators normally they will say that you are out of style or you are out of character. So it must be within the Baroque style of singing. And then automatically then you will need to understand and know the storylines, including the various aspects of the work. Now, let's check at essential points that you need to take account when you're analyzing this piece of music. You will know that this song, it follows, this chorus follows the famous quartet that named Manifested. And immediately after the quartet, there is a huge contrast in terms of the stylistic composition of the song, because the quartet is more on the legato and it is more on the adagio, which is on the slower pace, which has much of feelings. But in this one, it is a contrast of that, because then it hits a tempo and then it starts with the what we call a marching style, which contrasts from the previous quartet. So then the music, it is in D flat major, and then it moves to two different keys. It starts at D flat, and then it moves to D major, and then from D major it moves to A major. Then from A major, it goes back to D major until the end of the music. So now, before we can even go to the details of this music, you will see that there is an indication, there is a metronome of 96 that the conductors must adhere to, and then it is followed by what is written, which says it is an andante maestoso. Then as a conductor, you will need to unpack these two terms, andante maestoso. Andante means at a walking pace, andante means at a walking pace, and the maestoso means dignified and majestic manner in a marching style. It must be dignified, but in a marching style. So I will just quickly play the opening of the song so that we can depict this level of marching style. I'll just take about just 6 to 10 bars of the opening section so that we could hear this dignified and marching style that I am referring to. Right. You will depict from few bars that I have played that the tempo, it is not stagnated, but the music it moves forward, and then you will need to have that marching style, but that it must be within the common time, which is your 4/4 time, and then the conductors you will need to depict that. Right now, this music, it is in two sections, section A as well as section B. Your section A, it will start from bar number 1 right until bar number 18. And then it is in what we call a common time. In the common time, it will be your 4/4 time, which means 4 beats in a bar. And then this first section is taken from the book of Isaiah, from Isaiah 58, verse 8. It starts from Isaiah 58, verse 8. And then you hear from what I've played that the music starts with a very resonating and orchestra, and then it starts with a 3 beats prelude, and then the choir joins. And then we need also to differentiate between the two, to start as to join. The choir does not start, but the choir joins the orchestra, and the choir joins on the 4th beat of the first bar. And then what does it mean? It means then the choir starts on what we call anacrusis, and anacrusis means an upbeat. The choir starts on the upbeat, going to the downbeat of the 2nd beat of the music. So then, if you look at this first section, the phrases, they all start on the anacrusis, which means that they start on the lighter beat and then they go down to the strong beat, which will be the first beat of the next bar. So then, as conductors, you will need to pay attention to all musical phrases, so that you ensure that they all start on that lighter touch. Right then, you will also need the marching style, which must be well executed at the beginning of the music. Then, this section A, it has what we call a 4 bars phrases. So is that from bar number 1 until bar number 4. So those 4 bars, they form your first phrase. So then what does it mean? It means then it requires a proper breath management. And then you need to ensure that as a conductor, you start working on the proper breath management with your choristers, so that then you do not cut between the musical phrases. And then you will have the first modulations at bar number 8, which comes from B flat to D major. And then it is very easier for the sopranos to sing modulations, because the sopranos were already at D. They were already singing at D major. In terms of the staff notation, how the staff notation is written, the sopranos are already singing at D. So then when modulating to D for them is going to be much easier. But then the challenges, you might see challenges from the males. When they modulate, they don't modulate. They modulate on what you call the chromatic notes. So you need to ensure that when you play your melodic or your piano, that in terms of the key, the accuracy of pitch is correct, so that then you know that the set of modulation is correct. Right. I'm moving along. Right, and then in this piece of music, then you will see that there is a huge contrast in terms of dynamic levels, because it starts from forte. Your forte, you know that the forte means loud, and then it goes to piano. Piano means soft, including other styles of music. You see from the beginning, it starts with maestoso in a very matching manner. And then when you move to bar number 9 of the music, it changed texture, and then now it's no longer a matching style, but now it goes to what we call a legato style of singing. So legato means smooth singing. Legato means smooth singing. Then you need to apply those two dynamic contrasts correctly. So then you move from forte to piano, then you move from majestically to legato singing. And then as you at bar number 10, you will see that the sopranos, they are singing what we call higher tessituras. The tessituras will refer to high ranges or the higher registers. And then you will need to ensure that as much as they are singing soft passages, but then those higher registers, must be well observed and executed. And then this section ends at bar number 18. It ends at bar number 18. And then just before you arrive at bar number 18, you can also explore at bar number 16, 17, so that you ensure that you mark the end of the. So then I will quickly move to the section B of this music. Then the section B starts at bar number 18. Then you will see from bar number 18, we started the music at what we call a common time, which is a 4/4 time. And now it's changed. And now we have what we call a change of time signature from common time to 2/2. And then it means on 2/2 at bar number 18, you need to beat twice in a bar. You no longer 4 beats in a bar, but now you beat twice in a bar, so that then your music must be lively, so that then you'll be able to adhere to the marking of allegro. You'll see allegro there. It means lively. It means lively, and then you beat twice. And then in this section, it starts with the altos. The altos they tune us, they tune the choir, and they introduce. In fact, the altos they introduce what we call a theme, or they introduce a subject. And the other sections, as they come in, and then they take from the subject that was introduced by the alto. So that what you need, what is very imperative on this section is that when the section that carries, when the part that carries the subject, the others, the 3 voice parts must harmonize, or they must support the subject. So then we must have a subject and what we call a sub-subject. So then conductors, you will be aware, right? When we talk about subject and sub-subject, then it will lead you to what we call the balancing of your choirs. So then that one, it must be spot on. And then then we have what we call polyphonic singing. In polyphonic singing, you will see from where the music starts, from bar number 18, it starts with altos. The altos goes to the soprano, then the sopranos they take the baton, then from the sopranos goes to the basses, from the basses it goes to the tenors. That is what we call the polyphonic side of singing. So then the other element that you will need to pay attention to, this section is full of what we call slays. And then you, like for example, you can check the sopranos at bar number 41. It starts then the sopranos with slays at bar number 41, and then it moves to bar number 44 with that long slay. So then you must ensure that those slays are effected correctly. And the other thing that you will need to observe is the dynamic load marking of fortissimo. In terms of the study compositions of this piece of work, you'll be aware that for a fortissimo that we found at bar number 90, a fortissimo that we found at bar number 90, it does not mean you must sing very loud, but then it means that you must be within context. It must be full and broad. So then there is a difference between what I've said, between singing very loud and singing full and broad. So then you need to separate the two conductors. Because remember that from the original compositions of the oratorias, there were no musical dynamics that were provided in the original scores. But because then these are the edited versions, and then you will find that we have we have the fortes as well as pianos. But then in this piece of music, we encourage you to use what we call contextual interpretation. It means that you go deeper in what the text are saying, and then you interpret your music from there. Another section which is very crucial, the conductors you need to check is the amen section, which must be well defined. It goes it starts from, if you look in your music, it starts at bar number 114, the amen section, until the end of the music. Right. Just before I conclude on this song, there's just a few things that I would like also to tip our conductors as well as our choristers. You will see from section B of this music, we have what we call a call and a response. And then by call and response, I am referring to interchange between voice parts and a response to the first command that happens. And then this starts from section B of the music. You see the altos, they come in, and then the sopranos they respond. And also that call and response, it is not between the voice part, it is also between the voices as well as the accompaniment. So then you must also take into cognizance the importance of accompaniment in its composition. And the other areas that you must adhere, like that one which I must, like that, it must be correct. You must adhere to all the musical parameters. The musical parameters, I'm referring to your accuracy of pitch, the intensity, I'm referring to the focus on the loud and soft passages, that contrast between loudness and softness, and then the range, the dynamics, the meter, I'm referring to the recurring pattern of your strong beats vis-a-vis your light beats. So then you need to ensure that when you conduct 1, 2, 3, 4, it must be spot on. Remember that it is very imperative, because during our national levels we have the A orchestra, so that your beating of time, it is very imperative. Then you must look at the edge of tempo, which is very which needs to be consistent at all times. It must be steady, it must be consistent. And then you need to separate the texture. The texture, I'm referring to the polyphonic, where the alto starts, the sopranos joins, and then the basses joins, as well as the tenors follows. And then you need also to adhere to the homophony style, where all 4 parts are seen. And then you will see from this piece of music, and then when the all parts are singing, then your choir must be full and broad. And then also you need to work on the correct timbre as well as tonal quality. I think this is all like that I have prepared for this song. But we will also that I have already prepared the musical notes for this, and it will be made available from the music desk. Thank you very much.
Mamuzondi, I'm guided by you. I don't see Udadudwenani. I'm not sure that we able to do the other part for the.
Can I request that for today, Zipele last thing that it's can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Bengicela baba ukuthi namhlanje, because we're going to be using this platform to communicate even beyond lockdown. So bengicela ukuthi for today siphele la, so that we can also give our technical team and the people that are doing the music more time to prepare the other pieces. I know that maybe before the end of the week, we will be given another slot, and next week as well, we will be given other slots. So we will be communicating as to what we'll be doing moving forward. But we will be using this platform even beyond a lockdown, because seemingly it is able to reach a lot of people. But for now, can I just ask kule mizuzu esele esinayo, sivele move on to the question and answer session, if there are any, so that bazokwazi ukuthi basize ngayo babla. Yabonga.
The first question is from Utatum Debele in Gauteng. Datum Debele.
Sanibonani.
Yebo,
Sanibonani nonke. Ngiyazwakala.
Siyakuva
yebo,
tata.
ngiyavakala.
All right. Ngithanda ukubonga kakhulu this opportunity esiyenzelwe inkosi yoba ke sikhulume ngomculo. Ndibulela kakhulu ubaba uCelebration. Ndibulela kakhulu ukhulu together ne-HOD yomculo nabo bonke abantu abakhona sibulise enkonzweni jikelele. Ngicabanga ukuthi yami input kakhulu ubaba uCelebration sekayikhavile, but I would like to emphasize on one point, the point that umculo wethu enkonzweni masiwuthathe as isimiselo sika size 4, singawuthathi as a competition, but siwuthathe as isimiselo sika size 4. Hence there was a day allocated specifically for umculo, which is Tuesday. Now if we can all do that and take umculo as isimiselo, we won't have abantu abazawuthi makucula ichoral umuntu athi mina ichoral angiyithandi, makucula i-tradical umuntu athi i-tradical angiyithandi, makucula i-gospel kube nabantu abaspecializayo to i-gospel. We need to move away from that. Umculo ube sisimiselo, makuthiwa kuyaculwa wonke umuntu makacule, even emabandleni. From down kwibandla lika-priest, there must be a worshiping team kuze kuzofika phezulu umveleli abe ne-social emabandleni. Then umculo wethu uzawukhula, sizawuba nomculo okwaziyo ukuthi sikhave zonke izinto, siwuthathe njengomthandazo. I'm just summarizing what the umpostoli ayishilo mayivula. Let's just focus ekutheni umculo sisimiselo. Ama-competition mawasithole esimiselweni. All the other events mazisithole sisesimiselweni. So if usenza loo nto siyawuba singenile kwi-instruction yenkosi ethi masicule. Ngithanda nje uku-eda kancane lapho, ngibonge kakhulu kwangasonke leli thuba singalisebenzisa ibe yi-part of umthandazo. Uthi mawuthandaza umculo ube yi-part yomthandazo. Njengoba nalamaculo ebhaliwe, ngathi go through this booklet ngawa-rate. When you rate lamaculo wonke anendumiso ngaphakathi kwawo, be it is English, be it is vernac, but uyakhona ukuthandaza ngawo abasisimiselo. Ngalamazwi ngibulela kakhulu. Thank you very much.
Siyabulela that. I did not see any hands or anyone wanting to question. I went through all the attendees. There are no questions. Maybe hand back to HOD to wrap with a vote of thanks, and then sibuyisele back ku Tatu Untungo asivalele.
Thank you very much, Tatum Tepele, for those wise words. We will take them into consideration. Like I've said before, we would like to thank everyone who's participated. kule session. This is just the first session, and also we would like to implore everybody or a technology guru who thinks that maybe there are other areas that we can improve in terms of reaching even a larger audience, and also so that the session can be more interactive. Asondele naleyo suggestion ngaphambili, we are willing to hear and improve where we can. We know that we'll be communicating more sessions like this as the time goes on, as we are now also preparing more pieces to make sure that Abantu are not just sitting and not being aware of what is going to happen. Like I've said before, we are waiting for ilizwi elisuka kubaba elizosho ukuthi what is the direction that we're going to be taking going forward as soon as the lockdown has been lifted. With those few words, I'd like to thank everybody. Thank Babu Celebration. Thank you, Ukulu, and thank you all the conductors and the choristers and the congregants and everybody that has listened to this session. We will improve as time goes on and get the session to be more interactive. For more information, this session, it is being recorded, it is circulated, and also notes are going to be made available for everybody to read through. And if there are any other questions, we would gladly like Ubutabantu Baz forwarded. I will give out my email address for those that are interested. It's promise, promise.kunaka, KUNAKA @gmail.com. Okanye ungang WhatsApp ku 079 252 6585 for any suggestions and any other questions that you might have, so that I will be able to forward to the relevant people and you may get your responses as soon as possible. Ngiyabonga. Over to Ubaba Celebration ukuthi asivalele this session. Thank you very much and good night.
Nkosi kakhulu, manithabathe nami ithuba ndibulele to be part of this great initiative. Siyathemba uThixo uzasinceda sithathe lo mculo siubeke kule level asifuna kuwo. Sisakhasa sisephansi, but esinceda ihamba nathi, we will get there. Akwaba ke yonke le information esinikiweyo namhlanje can be inscripted in our souls ukuze imiphefumlo yethu sonke isindiswe ngenxa yezindumiso esizenzayo. Wanga ke uThixo oxolo xa nizawulala anganisikelela ukuze anikhusele, ze nithi nihleli kwezindumiso uThixo asinika zona zibe lukhuselo nakwingxubakaxaka ekhoyo ezweni, kodwa nizimele iphiko lakhe athe walolula labonakala laba zindumiso zakhe. Athi ke ezaliswe luxolo lwakhe uThixo esimkhonzayo, umpostile wovumo lwethu, abe lukhuselo ngaphakathi kwayo yonke imiphefumlo ukuze yonke ihlale ikhuselekile. Kuthi naye wonke umuntu alubone uvuko lwakhe uThixo ophila enyameni. Yanga ke inkosi inganisikelela, ihlale nani, ikhanye phezu kwenu njengemisebe yelanga, inikhusele manje kuze kube ngunaphakade. Amen. Alwaba ufefe lenkosi yethu, uthando nobudlelwane bukamoya oyingcwele kungaphumula nathi sonke ngoko nangonaphakade. Amen.
Amen. Siyabulela kakhulu tata. Thank you. Our session ends. Recording will be available from tomorrow. You will contact as our email is promise for access. we're recording the notes as indicated. Thank you very much and good night, everyone.
Of course.